Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is You Are Not Your Story. I'm doing daily morning musings and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, these blog posts were written a while back, so a lot has changed in the world. I'm going to read this article, and if something occurs to me that, this is completely out of date, this is what I believe or what I know to be true now, I will interrupt myself and say it. And also at the end, I will maybe come up with more of a summary of the topic. Also, once a week, I'm going to put out a brand new video that's not based on a blog, so stay tuned for that as well. You Are Not Your Story. I tried writing this on Thursday and hit a major writer's block. I started typing and hit a complete lack of motivation and feeling like I didn't have anything to say. When I stepped away from my computer, inspiration would return. So I'd sit back down and the same energy would hit. On Friday, I started a completely different article, and then I realized I was just telling an old story. Bing! My internal storyteller didn't want me to write this. It didn't want to be exposed, even though this is an expansion on the topic of gremlins. This hones into the core of its existence, and it didn't want light to be shone at it at all. We have a constant narration in our heads telling the story of our lives. Is yours a drama, a romance, or a comedy? The storyteller is not you, although it pretends to be. Neurologists will say that it's a small cluster of cells on the left side of your brain, a part that's responsible for language and organization and also engages with society. The running commentary is supposed to be the organizational part of you, reminding you that your dry cleaning needs to be picked up. You have frequent flyer miles about to expire. And what do you bring to the potluck on Saturday? So I'm going to interrupt myself in that I did do recently in the last month another video on gremlins. And I said much of these same things as an update. So obviously 6 months after I wrote the first one, I did this as an update. I do have more to share on this. However, with attention, it takes on a personality of its own, and it starts creating stories based on tidbits of information and impressions. Our storyteller's original behavior gets patterned in our childhood based on our family experiences, but it continues to get fed by our attention to it. So we feed our gremlins. Just like I said in the previous video, it was like we feed our rats. Same thing. I notice it responds to matching vibrations and patterns. So if there's something out there resonating in the field, it will join its energy and resonate even stronger. If you watch a news program that mentions something that's similar to past experiences of yours, your storyteller will jump on it and keep telling you to think about it and keep you thinking about it, embellishing your own story for hours and even days afterwards. I believe it telepathically tunes into others in your sphere, so even if you're not in direct communication with them, you'll pick up on what's happening and your storyteller will start chattering, either repeating your version of the past with those people or making up new drama when you run into them again. If you allow your storyteller to keep old stories alive, you'll keep experiencing the same energy over and over again. You'll find yourself still engaging with the same old people in the same old ways. Or you may have left the original people and circumstances behind, but you keep finding yourself with similar personalities and new versions of the same old story. When you stop listening to your storyteller, you stop feeding it energy, and eventually it quiets down. My storyteller acts up when if I'm tired, hungry, or emotional. Taking time for self-care helps me get back on track. So I realize that you are not your story, nor is the storyteller you. When you stop giving it power, you realize you are greater than all that's happening in your life. You are bigger than any problem that you have. When you reconnect with the essence of who you really are, you connect with your real power source. For the next week, try recognizing when your storyteller is chattering. Acknowledge it is for what it is, the storyteller, and redirect your thoughts consciously. See how quickly your life becomes a much more pleasant experience. So my commentary on this is, I wrote this in 2008. We had social media back then, but not to the degree that we have it now, where we're getting an onslaught 24/7 of different opinions about the news, different versions about the news, and specifically now we have misinformation being fed to us by Russian bots. And oh my goodness, do their tweets and posts look authentic? but they're really just designed to mess with our mind, and it stimulates our storyteller. And suddenly, we're not viewing the world with clarity or with what is. We're viewing it through, Vaseline lenses, through distortions, like we're in a fun house full of mirrors. Then what truly is going on. When you can reconnect with the essence of who you are and you can start viewing your own truth, it's easier to recognize that this is the storyteller, this little chatterbox in your head that is waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning with negative thoughts. When I operate with my storyteller, I lose all compassion for the world. I lose my sense of kindness. I lose my ability to step back and not get involved with the insanity in the world, because insanity is distortion as well. So it's really important, especially with what's going on right now in the world, for us all to reconnect with ourselves as essence and to really be operating from our higher consciousness. I don't believe that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. It only feels that way when your storyteller is leading the show. The world is a lot less painful and less dramatic when you're operating as consciousness. Doesn't mean that there aren't painful things in the world and people having really hard times, and there's a lot of sadness to empathize with, but you're not getting the artificial pain that the crazy Russian bots that want to control you and destroy our democracy. But it's a different kind of pain than the insanity that the information agents want you to believe. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I have some stronger thoughts I'm going to put together for a brand new video for next week. So stay tuned for other videos about this, because I have a lot more to say about what's going on in the world today. And I invite you for the next week to recognize when your storyteller is chattering, like I just said, and acknowledge it for what it is, and redirect your thoughts by consciously choosing different thoughts. And it really might be uncomfortable for a couple weeks to do something like that. It's difficult to change a habit, but it's amazing what can shift in your life when you do that. And if you've had an experience like this, please leave me a comment below. I love reading your comments. And if you like these videos, please hit the thumbs up and like them. Also, please subscribe. You can hit the bell icon to subscribe. It's the best way to get this information out into the world. And also, please share it with your friends and family. If you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I do individual sessions. There's a link below to a calendar for my individual sessions where I take a look at the essence of who you are and what's going on in your life. And I can answer any questions that you might have. And if you want to know how to do this for yourself, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and take a look at my coaching special. It's an individualized coaching program just for you, designed with consciousness techniques to help you transform your life. And if you want a taster of a consciousness technique, there's also a link to the skybox technique below. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another Morning Musings.